Okay, vacation is finally over. Kids are back to school, as I like to call it, work. And I'm finally getting back into programming, even though I don't know if I'd call it programmer's block or what, but I kind of feel like, I don't know, it's just hard to focus on stuff now. I think in part it's because Atari rejected my last game, and I really truly thought they were going to pick it up. I was like, it's just a matter of time. And, they said that move was too hard to do, and the Dragon Uppercut move, it's the special move for all of the characters. It's down, then it's a quarter circle away, so it's down, back, and then forward and the button at the same time. And I showed in my last video about programming that, I did it 10 times with different controllers and everything, just to show, hey, this is something where, I didn't have a problem with it. They said it might be latency on their part, or I guess, it could be the controllers that they're using or something, but, it was a setback. And that just happens. It's a normal part of my life. Like, okay, to put it into perspective, I don't think I've ever won any money on a scratch-off ticket, but every single time I have a birthday or some kind of like special event, Father's Day or whatever, someone gives me a scratch-off ticket, usually my mother-in-law, but sometimes other people, and I can just know I will never win on it no matter what. And I scratch off the thing, or I let my son or someone scratch off, and I never win no matter what. I used to think, oh, well, maybe it means that I'm winning at the important parts of life. But no, I just think that it's like I'm cursed and no one will ever accept my work, and there'll always be something wrong. And with Atari games especially, they are not anything like what I've programmed. So if someone has a hard time controlling it, I say, in the instructions, this game was programmed to be played on real hardware with a gamepad, preferably a Sega Genesis gamepad. And if you use the gamepad that I recommend, then the moves aren't as hard. But if you've played any of the Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter 2 or Fatal Fury 2, King of Fighters games, any of those games, the moves are sometimes hard to do. Even people who play a lot aren't doing dragon uppercuts every single time they throw one out there. So it's not meant to be super easy to do. But I'm programming it in a way where if you do the motions just right, then it will work. And as I said before, it's kind of a novelty move anyway, because it's not as powerful as the kick, which is easier to do. And that's kind of how it is in the real game. You'll find that if you trap the opponent in Street Fighter 2 or Super Street Fighter 2 and do whirlwind kicks, you'll sometimes do more damage than if you get one good, well-placed dragon uppercut on them. And the dragon uppercut is significantly harder to do. Again, if you do 3 or 4, 5 or 6 fireballs over and over and over again, then that is easier for you to do, harder for them to block and to deal with, and will inevitably cause more damage than one well-placed dragon uppercut. So even in the original game, it was kind of a novelty, and you could use it to set up combo moves and stuff, but as a final move in a combo. But I just don't think the move is that hard to do. It is hard to do, but I don't think it's like prohibitively hard to where, it's rejectably hard. But they don't want it. And so I've gotten back into the code, and to change that one tiny little detail is not easy. We're dealing with 60 plus variables that are all functioning to keep the game running. And I think that was a mistake on my part. I wanted to have as many different little things that could be fine-tuned and tweaked to make the controls very much like an arcade game. And what I ended up doing is making code so overly complex that trying to get back in there and change things is very, very difficult, especially when I've already programmed, a handful of other demos and partially complete games since then. So it's difficult to, it's difficult to adjust my targets back into that mode of trying to fix that. So I had considered reprogramming Yeet Fighter as a normal 32K cartridge. And graphically, it won't affect it a bit. It won't affect it in the slightest bit. In fact, it would possibly open up the opportunity for changing some of it in ways that I think might be positive. For instance, making characters that are the same on both sides, so that you could do a Ryu versus Ken match, or something like that, and that would change how the game is. I like that there are diverse characters, but I would rather have more characters that are less diverse, that have more special moves and differences, than to have the 4 different characters that have kind of unique variations. So, on one side you have the Ryu character, who is kind of duplicated and changed with the Ken character, or master, and the Oni character. Those are all 3 essentially the same, just with differences in speed, with differences in the complexity of their kicks and punches and stuff, and the damage that they cause. They are different, but they use the same sprite. Much like the difference between Ryu and Ken is Ken's got blonde hair. But then Ken actually has fireballs instead of psychic punches. His Hadokens catch on fire sometimes. He has fiery dragon uppercuts. He does a triple roll instead of just a roll kick when he throws someone. There are differences, even though they're essentially the same artwork. So I could probably approach it from that angle and try to have more differences between the characters, but use more of the same stuff. Kind of like what I'm doing with this wrestling game. I also considered that I could add the text mini kernel. I could add the text mini kernel, and then any and all graphics that were dedicated to the names could be eliminated. I could have winning comments. I could have character details. I could tell the story of the game in text, stuff like that. So that is very appealing, because even though I do like the big colorful names, the text kernel is cooler, in my opinion. I can use it, and it would be a lot of fun. There are changes I could make to Yeet Fighter where I still retain the core of the game and the moves and stuff, but then, change it a little to make it better. Or I could just say, hey, Yeet Fighter's done. You don't like it, you don't like it. You like it, you like it. If you got it, you got it. If you didn't get it, you're not going to get it. Stuff like that. Being a super chip game makes it very difficult to produce. So keeping it in that download world has made me a small amount of money, but not much. And I know a handful of people out there have the game. They're not complaining. Maybe they're modest. Maybe they've accepted that this is Poodle piloting a Gundam. It's the Atari was not made to have games like Street Fighter 2 on it. The joystick is wholly incompatible with Hadokens, dragon uppercuts, whirlwind kicks, charge attacks, things like that. So anyway, what have I been doing? Well, vacation. Kids have been here all the time. It's very difficult to focus on things like programming, where it sometimes takes 3 and 4, 5 or 6 hours or more to try to get anything done, and then have to feed kids and watch kids and do things with them and keep them occupied and everything. And so I've been trying out games on Linux. I've been playing the remake of Privateer, which is based on a kind of a fan project called VegaStrike, and they enhance. If you ever played Privateer, it's a game where you are basically Han Solo in the Wing Commander universe. Okay, you're flying around in your own little ship. You can choose your own adventure, kind of RPG style, but it's all space flight simulator combat and cargo carrying and taking on missions, and you can be a merchant, you can be a pirate, you can be a mercenary. Now the graphics have been redrawn in this remake. Now my ship's kind of dark because it's been shot a whole bunch. I guess that would be the privateer equivalent of what Star Wars calls carbon scoring. Now here I'm landed, and I've made my home a planet called Victoria, and that's because of its location makes it easier to jump to other systems. Now in the game you start out with the smallest ship with like 2,000 credits, which is nothing. It's not even enough to do anything with. Now I bought Privateer back in the day, whatever, 30 some odd years ago. I still own it. It's one of my favorite video games of all time. It is simple though. There are only 3 different ships other than the Tarsus, which you start out in, that you can get. You can get a combat mercenary ship, you can get a merchant style ship, or you can get a hybrid merchant / combat kind of ship. And then you of course have the ship you start with. Now in this game, because it's a remake, you can actually buy and own more than one ship and have a little miniature fleet. So I actually have 3 ships now, and I've decked them out. And so you take missions, and your missions run you into pirates and these people called retros that are religious zealots that are anti-technology, so they use ships to attack you to try to kill you. They have a home world where retros all live, and in its own system. And also Kilrathi, who are these cat alien bad guys that are the main bad guy, like Klingons in Star Trek. There are Kilrathi and Wing Commander. Now I played Wing Commander 1 and 2, again, back in the day, and I still play them occasionally, because I love the games. This programmer named Chris Roberts made them, and they were cutting edge at the time. They had really great graphics, voice acting, animated mouths and eye movements and stuff. They had really great storyline, and you participate in the story. Now in Wing Commander and Wing Commander 2, you're in the military. So you're a pilot that's in the military. You have to go on sorties to destroy Kilrathi because they are encroaching on what is called ComFed, the Federation's territories in space. Now in Privateer, it's the universe of Wing Commander 2, but you're a freelance pilot. And I guess you have possibly ex-military ties or something like that. You start out in a low-end, cheap, crappy ship. You have to upgrade it. Okay, so here, this place, if you notice, as I hover, there's a bar, a merchant's guild. Over here, there could be a mercenary guild, but there isn't one in Victoria. Down here is a commodity exchange where you buy and sell goods, a landing pad, and a ship dealer. This is a mission computer. Now I can go to the Merchants Guild and get special missions from them that will pay me more money, but they're often more dangerous. Sometimes I think the Merchant Guild's trying to get you killed off. Or you can go to the mission computer, or you can do a combination of both, as long as you don't exceed your cargo capacity. I'll give you an idea here. Here's the 3 ships you can buy other than the Tarsus: the Galaxy, Orion, or Centurion. And then this is the 3D, and now this is really dark because, again, my ship's been blasted a whole bunch. And then this is the upgraded purchase screen, where you can work on your ship and stuff. In the original game, it was back on that same screen, and you just cycled through items that you could buy, and it was less intuitive and more time consuming. For instance, if you go to the commodities exchange, in this one, you can just buy all of one commodity with one click, or you can buy, a set number of a commodity based on what you want to sell. And it's all locale. If you're at a mining colony on an asteroid, they don't have grain, they don't have food, they don't have pets, they don't have furs, they don't have wood, but they do have gems because they just mined it. tungsten, which is what all the ships are armored with. Also iron, because they're harvesting all that from the mines that they're mining. So you get the tungsten and the gems and the iron really cheap at a mining colony, and then you fly it to a planet and sell it, and there's a markup. Or you buy furs and pets and wood and food and grain from a planet, and then fly that to a asteroid where they're mining, and there's a markup. You can sell it and make profit. So you can in effect just sell things in this game all the time and buy ships and fly around and talk to people and meet people. Every place has a bar, and there's always people there trying to get you to do stuff, and that's how you further the story. There will be agents from the military trying to get you to do military runs for them. There's some seedy, greasy, underhanded henchman kind of guy named Sandoval who's trying to get you to do missions for, crap that just usually gets you killed. There are merchants who will wait at the bar rather than posting on the mission computer or going through the merchant guild. There's a markup through the merchant guild. There's a fee to join the mercenary or merchant guild. So it's comparable though. If you pay them 1,000 credits and then you get a mission where they're paying you 30,000 to do something that you can do and not get blown up, that's worth it. And that same type of mission will be on the mission screen and only pay you 8 or 10 grand. So you'll always make more money, but there is that cost of dealing with them. Now there are lots of different types of missiles. I use dumbfire because they cause the most amount of damage. They're the cheapest missile. They don't lock onto anything. Essentially, I line straight up with someone and then I dump the dumbfire missiles on them. They cause the most damage, even though they're the cheapest, but they have no guidance. So then we have friend or foe missiles. Those will hit anyone that you lock onto. Heat seekers will hit anyone that they seek out through their heat they're generating. Image recognition will hit anyone, but if you lock onto a certain type of ship that's a bad guy, and then there's another that's a good guy that's the same type of ship, and the bad guy blows up, then the IR missile might go and track the good guy because it's the same ship. And then we have proton torpedoes. Those are the same essentially as dumbfires, but they go much, much further. If you can aim them, you can hit slow-moving targets from a distance, which, I don't know, they're difficult. Then you have all kinds of grades of armor. You have emergency countermeasures packages, your hull plating that you choose, little add-ons, and every place has different grades of add-ons. So you can't just go into a ship area here, like a shipyard here, and just buy all upgrades from any place. If you're out on the outskirts like I am, there are less things to buy. Like shield systems, they're only light shield systems. If I go to New Detroit, which is Wing Commander's version of Coruscant, then they have way more stuff. And but just to get to New Detroit, you're going to get attacked a handful of times. You're going to have to kill pirates. You might run into a fresh group of 4 Kilrathi with a couple flagships, and it is absolutely no way to escape, and they're going to kill you. And I've noticed this game has cranked up the difficulty to where sometimes you will get somewhere, and where in the original game you might be able to get out of it somehow, in this one there's no way to get out of it. So it is frustrating. It's a harder video game than the original. Then we have lots of weapons, and you can have turrets that are mounted on. Now what I've done is went to different systems and bought guidance computers for each of my weapons. So my rockets, even though they're dumbfire, have a guidance system that angles them towards the enemy. And my guns, which are the most powerful guns you can have, plasma guns, they use the most energy, but if they hit you, they take your shields out in 1 or 2 shots, and then they start taking your ship down with it. If I fire 2 plasma blasts and 1 dumbfire, and all 3 hit you at once, you're gone. So it's basically if I have 1 completely successful hit from 1 discharge of both weapons and a dumbfire missile, all the retros, all the pirates, and most of the smaller Kilrathi ships will be taken out by that. And so it helps. Now I have 469,000 credits. That sounds good, but it's actually kind of, there are certain reactors for your ships that are millions of dollars, and they're military grade reactors. All 3 of my ships have been upgraded to the max. I don't think they can be upgraded anymore, and I still don't own a military style ship yet. And so I'm thinking of doing that. Now if I go to ships here, this says merchant, and they have light and medium vessels to purchase here, and then my own fleet, which right now I'm in an Orion, so that's not on the list, but then I have a Tarsus and a Galaxy that are decked out. So if I pick, now if you notice here it says transport cost 0. That's because these 2 ships are here at Victoria, where I've basically chosen to live. So if I go to New Detroit and I want to bring my Tarsus or my Galaxy ship to New Detroit, there'll be like a $50,000 transport cost, or 50,000 credit, where they have to move your ship to that planet. So, but because it's here, I can just click buy right now, and then there's my ship. And then that's, and now that's a 3D model of what used to be 2-dimensional artwork that was drawn. So this actually looks a little bit better than what the original artwork looked like. So I'll click it again, and we'll go to ships, and I'll show you the ship you start out with, which is the Tarsus, and I'll click that, and here it is. And it's all dark here because it's been shot a whole bunch. When you first get it, it's shiny and gray right here, and here's a plasma gun, and here's an ion gun. Now and I have a tractor beam on here somewhere. The tractor beam, you can pick up cargo. So suppose you choose you want to be a pirate in this game, and you don't care that the cops are going to be hunting you all the time and mercenaries are going to be hired to kill you. You can sneak up on merchant vessels and blow them up, and if you have a big enough cargo hold, you can just use your tractor beam and take up all of their cargo and then go sell it somewhere. But because you're a pirate, you're going to be people are going to try to kill you everywhere you go pretty much, unless you know the right places to go. There are pirate-friendly places. Sometimes you'll go to a bar and someone will be talking about how terrible ComFed is and how the Kilra are nice and there shouldn't be a war. Sometimes you go to a bar and they'll tell you that they hate it when ComFed pilots come there because they raise hell and tear the place apart. And then sometimes you go someplace and they'll say, that Admiral Tolwyn is a hero and that the Confederation is the greatest ever, because he hasn't heard yet that Admiral Tolwyn was a traitor that was selling out the ComFed to the Kilrathi. And then there's some new admiral, and then you'll go someplace and they'll talk about how that guy's the greatest guy ever and how God bless the ComFed for saving us from the furballs. So they're all different, varying. There are neutral places, ComFed places. There are places where it's a ComFed place with a military base, but for some reason every time you fly there, there's 5 Kilrathi waiting at the jump point to kill you. Like you'd figure that if there's a military base right there, there would be military vessels protecting the jump point from Kilrathi. So there's a lot of mashed up, kind of mixed up, and it has an air of realism to it. It's extremely realistic. So the amount of detail that has been enhanced within the remake is staggering. All of the ships were 2-dimensional facets meant to represent 3 dimensions. Now they're 3 dimensions. All the planets were big blobby, flat looking 2-dimensional artwork, really grainy, pixelated, and now they're really high resolution, clean, beautiful planetscapes with all surrounding art graphics. If you go to New Detroit, half the planet is cloudy and the other half has like the lights of some huge, half-planet sprawling cityscape, and you can see it. If you come up on New Detroit from the side, then half of it will be cloudy and the other half will have lights all over the place. It is the industrial capital of the galaxy, New Detroit. And you'll find that people in the bars tell you that you should go visit New Detroit, it's the best place, but you won't go there without getting blown up, no matter what, because there's always either retros, pirates, Kilrathi, or all 3 waiting at the jump points to kill you. And so one thing I've remembered, and this was something I kind of had forgotten from back in the day when I played it 20 or however many years, 20, 30 years ago, was that when you first see a bad guy on your radar, the best thing to do is go straight at them and take them out as fast as you can. If there's someone else there fighting with them, then you'll help. If there's no one else there fighting with them, then you're taking the aggressive stance against them right away so that they're not getting an advantage on you. If they get up behind you, they'll take you out. If there's more than one and they group up on you, they'll take you out. But I found that if you fly straight at them and there's 2 or 3 of them and they're very close together, you can take 2 or 3 of them out in one huge barrage of fire and missiles. So there are ways to approach the game. Now if there's 2 Kilrathi battleships and small fighters following them around, you're dead. Because as you try to shoot the battleships, the turrets on it will pick away at your shields while the smaller fighters kill you. If you try to get the smaller fighters, then the larger battleships will tail you and shoot you and hit you with missiles and stuff and kill you. So there is a level where you might as well not even bother. You're dead and there's no escape. I hate that, but it is part of the game. But sometimes you'll happen upon some mercenaries or some security craft and they're fighting against Kilrathi, and you can actually join in and help out and get the upper hand. There is a kill count and it keeps track of it. Now I've played this game solely from the objective of being a merchant and avoiding the main line events that further the game. Eventually the game becomes a hunt for an anomalous alien craft that can destroy anything and is essentially indestructible. And you reach that point after you do all of the story-oriented missions that will further along the kind of underlying story that's part of the game. You don't ever have to even approach that part of the game. You can play this game for 50 years and never get to the very end of it. Now on my privateer that I have on my old computer, I'm actually right at that point where the next level of it is finding the anomalous ship and usually getting blown up because there's no way to destroy it. And there's a way around it, like you can communicate with it, stuff like that. But in this game, I'm just being a merchant and I'm trying not to cause as much damage as possible. So if I click here and go to info, it says I've killed 59 pirates, 13 retro, and 6 Kilrathi. A 78 kill total. I've killed no Confed officers. I've killed no merchants, hunters, or militia. Okay, so I've only killed bad guys and not very many of them. And that's fine with me. That's great. I don't want to kill a bunch of people. I'm playing this because it's like commerce and trading, and it's a space flight simulator kind of all mixed together. And I think that's the most interesting aspect of the game. You can play endless get in an awesome ship and shoot bad guys games, and they're essentially two-dimensional in your mind, as you know, graphically superior as they might be to everything else. You're just getting in a ship, flying to bad guys, blowing up bad guys, and then there's something else. Maybe there's some video segments or some kind of kill count with a bunch of big-headed pilots. That's how Wing Commander, Wing Commander 2, Wing Commander 3, Wing Commander Prophecy, all those games are just like that. And, you know, I'm not knocking those games. I've played them a bunch and they're a lot of fun. Wing Commander Prophecy has, and Wing Commander 3, both have A-list actors. Wing Commander 3 has Mark Hamill and Malcolm McDowell. Wing Commander 4, I believe, has Malcolm McDowell and Ginger Lynn. It has, oh goodness, it has a ton of guys. It has the guy who played Biff from Back to the Future. It's got a ton of actors all over the place. And it has, you know, all video segments. You're part of this team. In Prophecy, the Kilrathi have a prophecy about death coming through a portal in the heavens or something, and then all of a sudden these aliens that are insectoid come through some wormhole, gateway, portal opening in space, and they start blowing up Kilrathi, they start attacking Comfed, and they're very, very difficult. It's an extremely difficult, frustrating game. But it is extremely fun, and it's addictive. Now this game gives you the opportunity of existing in the Wing Commander universe, but not just having that two-dimensional chess, tit-for-tat, combat-only oriented gameplay. This is, you can buy dogs and cats and sell them to people to make them happy on mining asteroids, and do nothing but buy food processor machines for up-and-coming planets, and just you can save people, you can escort, you can be an armed escort in a battleship and do nothing but escort merchant ships to different systems. It's very diverse. Now the second Wing Commander game, Privateer 2, had Christopher Walken in it. It had fleet gameplay where you could like establish an entire fleet of ships. You could do all kinds of deeper stuff. I guess it didn't go over well. I might have played it for 5 minutes once 20 years ago or something, but I really don't remember much about it. It looks okay, right? But then the original Privateer was really, really fun, and this is based on that. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to the ship I was using. Okay, and then I can go and I can check the mission computer. I usually only do cargo. From Victoria, now okay, when you start out you're in the Troy system. So there's a planet called Helen, there's a mining colony called Hector, and there's a mining colony called Achilles. And then there are jump points and one nav point 8. After you leave Troy, you inevitably are going to run into your first asteroid field. You have to get around the asteroid field. Don't even try to fly through it because you're just going to die. So you just find the edge of the asteroid field and get around it until you have a straight line to your jump point. Then you auto-nav to that jump point. Okay? But Victoria is actually outside of that in a system called Junction. And it's called Junction because there are no mining colonies. There are 3 planets, 1 agricultural planet and 2, I think, pleasure worlds, which are like rich kid paradises with casinos and playthings, stuff like that. But there are endless, there are like 5 or 6 or 7 jump points in Junction. So it's aptly named Junction because it's a center point that actually connects to all the other systems. That's where I'm at right now, is the planet Victoria, an agricultural planet in the system called Junction. And I don't have to go through an asteroid field unless I'm going back to Troy, or I hop a few different points that require that I navigate an asteroid field. They suck. You can, now like, so they're kind of tricksy stuff here, right? Like there's a place called Valhalla. And there is a base in Valhalla called Valkyrie. That is a mining colony that is in the dead center of an asteroid field. You can't reach it unless you fly through asteroid field. And you'll get hit by asteroids, and one asteroid can blow your ship up in one instant. There's nothing you can do about it. So whenever I see anything on here that says something needs escorted, delivered, or otherwise taken to Valkyrie or to the Valhalla, no, forget it. Forget it, because it's not worth the risk. And usually it's definitely not worth the pay. But if I look through here, Newcastle, there's a jump point to Newcastle. So I'll look through here to find places like there. Deliver grain to Palin, deliver grain to Palin, that's 2 of them. That combined is almost 50,000 credits. That would put me over 500,000 credits if I complete that run. Okay, so Newcastle or Axis Foods. Now Palin, I think, is got cats everywhere. We'll see. Why not? So I'm going to take both of those missions. Now you can also go to the Merchant Guild and check and see if they have anything going to Palin, if you have enough cargo space. So Raxus, Castor. Castor's okay, but Pollux is a terrible place full of pirates and bad guys. They don't have anything else. So I'm going to Palin to make almost 50,000 credits. Now this game uses a keyboard, a joystick, and a mouse all at the same time. Okay, now landing pad. Don't know why I had it muted. Okay, now over on my left is my mission objectives. Nav points. Now it says jump to Nexus on right to Palin. So I'm going to go to Nexus. Okay. I've got my afterburners. Now the way my systems are set up, I can run afterburners constantly and never stop. Now there's bad guys. They're fighting with people right now. There's one. He's coming at me. There's one gone. I think we took them all out. No, there's one more.
Another dissatisfied customer.
There we go. Now all the bad guys are dead. The little red dots are there, they're floating in space. So if I go here, well, I don't know, actually I can't see them, but if you can lock into one, you'll see it's just a little pilot floating in space. Okay, now I'm going to Nexus. I'm going to go ahead and, now I've got auto, that means there are no hostilities near me. Weapons, I have my plasma guns and 8 dumbfires left. No red dots, clear shot to the jump point. And so now if I weave back and forth, you'll notice I can actually add a little more speed to my maximum KPS. And oddly enough, in Prophecy, the aliens that you're fighting weave like that all the time. I'm getting ready to jump. Sometimes it takes a couple seconds to load the jump animation, and then it will like be faster after it loads it the first time. This is different jump animation than in the original game. The original game, your ship like pops like a bottle rocket and it shoots. Now I'm going to Tingerhoff. There's an asteroid field right there. I'll be going past it though, but that might be, that's a base in an asteroid field right there. Glad I'm not going there. Although right when I come out of this jump, there's probably going to be bad guys all over the place. See, that was faster. Sometimes it's immediate, sometimes it takes a couple seconds. And this game performs slightly slower in Linux. Now I come back through, there's a planet. There's also, that's a refinery. Okay. Check my damage system. Now I have computers that will repair my system all the time. I have an onboard repair robot and a repair system. As you can see, repair system advanced, repair droid advanced at the bottom right of my damage report. That helps. I've noticed sometimes it helps to slow down when you're in combat. You'll find that your fastest set speed without afterburners is often too fast to get a good shot. All right. Now I need to visit Palin, the planet. There we go. And this was a run. Now I'm going to hit my manifest, and I have 468,000. Someone's launching stuff at me. Or no, that's a fight going on behind me. Notice how this planet's totally dark on this side. This is an ag planet.
Now entering an automatic landing.
There we go. And now I have 513,000. So I just did that. I'm going to save the game. I've got lots of backup saves based on what I plan on doing. This place has a ship dealer, but they also have a merchant guild. They have everything. They have a bar. Here's what the bar looks like. No one is here. Sometimes there'll be a confed officer here, a merchant here, or there'll be a specific person here and a confed or a merchant. There's a guy passed out. The bartender will talk to you.
Boy, I'd hate to be in Hunter Toth's shoes.
Now in the original game, his mouth's animated, but they took that out for some reason, or maybe it's just not working.
That's the book that attacked the Church of Man, remember? He coined the term retros, labeling the faithful as backward for their hatred of technology.
He's talking about an author whose life is at risk because he wrote a book against these religious zealots, coining the term retros, which is what everyone calls them now. And they are the ones who attack you for religious reasons. They're against technology. So I'll go to the ship dealer and immediately resupply my dumbfires. I spent 2 of them. Okay, and I'll check my armor and my hull. Both of them are okay. And like I said, I'll check my reactor real quick. Now, I have a heavy reactor that I bought from a military place. This is an advanced radar. There are so many grades of radar. Here they have all 3, advanced, basic, and intermediate. And I can click this, and it's 72,000, and I'll click mine, and mine was 63,000, and I can sit here and compare the difference between the two. I have a targeting cone, locking cone, no intelligent target tracking, but full advanced flag and hostility heuristics. In other words, if someone attacks me, it will automatically identify them and then remember that that's a bad guy, regardless of who they are. I'll click the Hunter AW, and it does have intelligent target tracking, and it has friendly hostile, but see, mine has full advanced flag and hostility. This only has friendly and hostile advanced flag and hostility. What that means is that retros, Kilrathi, and pirates will automatically be red, and good guys will automatically be blue. But if for some reason a good guy starts attacking me, that thing will still have it be blue on my radar. So, but on mine, on this BNSI, this will actually identify it once it becomes hostile. So it has full flag and hostility heuristic support, whereas this more expensive one has only friendly versus hostile, but it has intelligent target tracking, which is really important. So this is better to have this. The targeting cone, 110 and 128. Mine is 117 and 134. Mine has a better targeting cone and a wider locking cone. The tracking range, 2 kilometers. This one's tracking range is 2 kilometers. Mine is better in every way, except this one has the intelligent target tracking system, which might make it better overall. And it is more expensive. But I'm not interested in upgrading just yet. One thing I would like to do is install the weapons. They don't have it here, but it's a weapons miscellaneous that adds tracking. Now my Orion and my Galaxy class ships both have the tracking on the guns you can also add them to the rockets or missiles, and I have that on the Orion, but not on the Galaxy. But I don't have either of them on my Tarsus, and I'd like that because the Tarsus is a slower, weaker ship. Although it's kind of harder for them to shoot because you can weave in and out of gunfire. It's a smaller, much smaller ship. Okay, so I've restocked my missiles. I'm going to check cargo and see if, well, there's a ton of missions. And I already know I want to go back to Victoria, which is my little home there. New Detroit is danger. Castor is okay. Ryganon has been just recently taken over by the Kilrathi. I don't see how there are missions going there. If I go there, there's probably a Kilrathi battleship there. So we have wood and grain going to New Detroit. Okay? But then at the Merchant Guild, we have contraband. See, now that's the Merchant Guild trying to get me to do something illegal. If I get scanned by a security vessel, they'll come after me. That's bad. Wood to the KM252 system, and contraband again. These guys are selling contraband at this branch of the Merchants Guild. Bad idea. I would never take a mission doing that because I want to keep a status where the patrol will help me and not attack me. But I'll go ahead and do this. I saved my game. I'll go ahead and do the New Detroit run. And take grain and wood. And there, deliver contraband. This place is like a bad guy planet or something because they're all about selling contraband. And that's bad. There's this drug in the future in this game called Brilliance that everyone's addicted to, and you can actually be a drug dealer in this game and sell that stuff. Alright, here we go. I'm going to Tingerhoff to get to New Detroit. I think that might have been a good guy shooting at me, I don't know. It'd be really nice to jump to New Detroit and not get blown up, but... Now, my energy meter at the middle, how it's just barely wobbling, well, that will go down if you have systems where they actually are using up your power. So I don't want that. I want it to never run out so that I can go as fast as possible. And this is my fastest ship. But in the military vessels, in Wing Commander, they can go 1,000 or 1,200 with their afterburners, whereas I can only go 800 with my afterburners. So military grade vessels will catch up to you. A lot of the larger Kilrathi ships, they can catch you easily, even if you're running from them. It's playing some bad guy music. Here we go. It's probably going to be bad guys here. No. Good. New Detroit. There's bad guys. Wait a minute, I think I escaped them. Yeah. That's fine with me. I've just had a cat say something foul. Now, you'll hear like a meow if the enemies, if some or all the enemies are Kilrathi. You hear like a meow. And that helps in case you don't have radar that's good enough to identify them. And there's bad guys. But there's a blue guy back there. They're probably fighting with somebody. And I'm just going to see what happens. Just look behind me. Yep, There's one right there getting closer. I don't want my, there we go. I'm almost there. If I can get an auto, which might, if you get far enough away from him, you'll get autopilot to kick in, and you can get there without getting blown up. He thinks he's going to catch me. He's not. If he does, then I'm going to give him a missile up the tailpipe, and he's not going to be happy. Okay, he wants to die. So this guy's going to die now. There he goes. That was stupid of him. Is that another one? No, that's his junk. And he's dead. And I got my auto. There we go. And there's bad guys here. Right here at New Detroit. The industrial capital, the main capital of the galaxy here. I've got bad guys coming at me. And you figure there'd be security forces here to stop them. Who is this? Let me see. Okay, he's an idiot. He's dead. Is he running? No, he's coming at me. That's a retro. Yeah. Was a retro. Okay. Now there's one less retro for people to get blown up by. Coming to New Detroit. Alright, my auto's on. And now I have 513 credits. There's a blue back there, so there's actually a battle happening right behind me. Probably a mercenary. And I'm about to dock. Now look, 513,000 credits. Automatic landing. And then let's look at how many credits I have now. 569,000 credits. Now I'm at the main hub. I'm at the biggest place, New Detroit. They have really great stuff. So this is where, now there's their shipyard. Here's their merchant guild, mercenary guild. Here's their bar. This is the slime ball that'll try to get you killed. This is a guy who wants to, he's a bounty hunter that wants to hire you. He'll get you killed. This is a bartender who's probably addicted to brilliance, and he wants to talk about how the cops are bad. Commodity here, they sell everything. But they don't have, like, you know, like they have wood, but look, 108, I can buy it for 66 a unit from an ag planet. This you can, if you buy, you won't be able to sell anywhere. So, but then I need to figure out where I can sell some of this stuff, because some of these planets, they want this stuff. If you go and find out, take a little risk and find out where the items can be sold. So I'm going to go get dumbfires for my rocket launchers. I spent 3 of them. They're cheap. And then check my armor and my hull. Everything's fine. Nothing's broken. Now when you see me blow up an enemy ship the way I am, that's because I've spent a considerable amount of money upgrading my ship. That is not your experience you're going to have when you first start. You're going to get blown up a lot because the enemies are really terrible. So this is what I did for my vacation. It was a lot of fun. I recommend trying this game. It's a download called Privateer VegaStrike. VegaStrike, not Vegas Strike, but VegaStrike. It's also called Privateer Remake. That's what this is titled. And a new version just came out like a couple of days ago. Like, this is the older version that I've been playing for a while. The newer version says it fixes some of the stuff, so I'm probably going to go ahead and download it. But I didn't see on the GitHub page any distros that were Windows. Most of them were they were Linux. And so this is Puppy Linux that I'm using, FossaPup64, which is actually built with Ubuntu. So they have an Ubuntu distro that's probably compatible with this system, but this is the Windows version of the game being played through Wine. And so I had to go into Wine, and I'll show you something real quick. To set up a game in Wine, you want to go into your Wine config and tell it the game, and then any dynamic link libraries that are native to the game that you want to override rather than using the built-in ones for Wine. I've got it running in Windows XP mode, and if you look at my libraries, look at all the these are the DLLs that you have to assign to it to be native to make it run perfectly, or as good as you can in Linux. Every one of those dynamic link libraries is actually in the folder with the game. And that's the largest number of specific dynamic link libraries that I've ever had to override for a game. Now for GDA, which is experimental because it never runs right, I have to do the ones that are part of it, but then the overrides will take over. It will run, but it runs so slow that it's basically unplayable. I think that's more directly related to this being a 64-bit operating system and that game being designed for a 32-bit operating system. There's a lot of problems. There's, like I said before, there's a compatibility layer that is emulated that converts the 32-bit code into being something usable on the 64-bit system. Games that were created using Python or things that reside in modern operating systems like Linux operating systems, those aren't going to have the problems that those older games from the early 2000s are going to have on a 64-bit Linux distro. Now, this is EPSXE. That is a PlayStation emulator. And I'm actually running it with two of the dynamic link libraries that it comes with, but then the built-in ones are working. This runs perfectly, and it also has all the effects and stuff, and that is a DOS PlayStation emulator. And I would say it actually runs better than the Linux PlayStation emulator. I found that to be true through Wine with several emulators. The Gens and what else? Vega, Fusion, Genesis emulators, those run better, at least in this distro. The Wine DOS or Wine Windows versions of them run better than the Linux emulators. So then Biohazard 3, that's Resident Evil 3, the video game I've been playing. I can't seem to get it to run well. It has slowdown phases. Whenever certain angles are taken where there's a lot of zooming or a lot of graphics, it will slow down, whereas it plays obviously totally perfectly in full speed in Windows. And that's the seamless HD remake with all the mods and everything, and some additional costumes that I threw in there. Now that's another thing with VegaStrike. To make sure it works, you don't let the window manager control it, and you don't have it decorate the windows. Those will both mess up the game. Now to get to your joystick though, you want to go into your Wine control panel. That's different than Wine CFG. It's actually Wine space control in your terminal. Then here's my internet settings. You can use with a program I think called Gecko. You can use the internet through Wine, which I wouldn't recommend. display settings, add remove programs, and game controller. Now you're supposed to install video games through Wine. And then whatever it needs, it will install, and then whatever it wants to use the Wine version of, it will, in essence, override your Windows program. But because Wine is the one running things as a compatibility layer, whenever you need to use a Windows-specific element, that's called overriding. So if I use a Windows DLL, I am overriding the Wine built-in DLL. And I don't do that though. I've done it and it works okay, but I install the games in Windows and then I run them through Wine after they've been installed in Windows off of an NTFS hard drive. So none of that is recommended. You shouldn't do any of what I just said. Okay. And here's my Logitech Dual Action. That's what I'm using for games here. It's a super, super good dual analog, 4 shoulder buttons. It's basically, you know, the PS2 wannabe dual analog with a better thumb pad. So I find that the Logitech controller is by far more universally compatible with programs in Linux than my Xbox controller. And then in Windows, my Xbox controller works very, very well for pretty much everything. So if I'm playing Windows, I'll use the Xbox. If I'm playing Linux, I'll use the Logitech. And if I were going to recommend a joystick for someone, I would recommend getting a Logitech like this one, because it's the Logitech Dual Action is what it's called. It is not $80 or $90. 16 bucks, 10 bucks, 5 bucks, 20 bucks brand new. Oh yeah, that's an Xbox wireless controller. That's their normal one, $80. That. Oh, wow, I love that. I love the Velocity green. Oh my goodness. That is so awesome. So, about my game. I have been working with new color schemes to get it to look as good as possible. This is the newest color scheme, which I think is the best so far. I do need to adjust some of the character colors to match with the newer scheme, but it is working. So I'll go ahead and show that real quick. Body slams. I've worked with the suplex to line it up better. So as you can see, the game is still going. I still need to move the missile sprite from the center there. About right there, there's a little gray dot. That's from where it said WVW on the front of the ring. So I'm chiseling away at it. I really like the graphics. Although being away from the game for this last vacation, which was Thanksgiving vacation, I noticed that when I started it back up, I was like, wow, this looks pretty chunky. But I'm fine with that, you know. I'm not, there's no regrets here. But yeah, it does look chunky. Some of the wrestlers, like I said, will need their colors to be adjusted, and as I run through their different color schemes, see there, that one, he'll need his colors adjusted. He'll need his colors adjusted. And really, what they look like in the ring is paramount. But remember, you'll have the capability of going outside the ring and fighting too. So I want him to look good outside and inside the ring. He'll need his colors adjusted. Now, a guy named Gecko, he talked about my game. He also included it in one of his videos where he talks about Nintendo games, and very positive influence, and he does his own streaming videos. He's also, I think, conceptualizing a Gex style Atari game or other video games. So you know, look for him out there. He's got his own YouTube channel, and he could use some views and some subscribers and stuff. I'm subscribed to him, and you know, he helps remind me why I'm doing this. And it's because I love programming, I love making video games, and even though I might get rejected more than I'm accepted, this is the newest thing. This is something where no one has ever done this on the 2600 before, and I'm the only person that's doing graphics like this on the 2600. I'm the only person that's making anything that even remotely looks like this for the 2600. And I want this to be a big deal. I wanted Yeet Fighter. I thought Yeet Fighter was going to be a big deal. So here we go. His boots vanished because they matched the color of the ring. So I know that the pink guy there, he definitely. Now, but the yellow guy with brown boots, he's perfect. He contrasts perfectly. So just one slight tweak to the code, to the color code for the pink guy, and his boots will show up fine and everything will be balanced out. And I'm going to have to do that with all the characters. How do they look in the ring? How do they look out of the ring? See, because outside the ring you can see that the floor matches his boot color. Even though the background color doesn't. The gray doesn't, the ring doesn't, the ropes don't. Just the combination color. We've also got some extra detail on the camera now with this color set. It likes to mix the color here on the camera, so that I think that looks really great. I'm happy with that. So it's coming along. Labor of love. After this game is done, I'm considering making a Sega Genesis game, and actually a Sega CD game. Now, I've considered cost. With this game, I consider cost. This is a 32K EEPROM in a PCB game. It doesn't require super chip. It doesn't require ARM processors. When this game is done, I will be able to produce it. If I'm the only way to produce it, I'll be able to produce it. If someone else wants to produce it, it will be low cost. It shouldn't be hard to produce. And from now on, that's my main focus, is that I can actually make these games. Because Yeet Fighter, I thought that there'd be super chips out there to pick up, and there were not. And that was why it couldn't get produced easily. Tried to go with digital download, and they didn't want it because one of the special moves was kind of hard to do. I want to be able to make these games. If I reprogram Yeet Fighter, it's going to be 32K only on a PCB with an EEPROM, no super chip or ARM chips or whatever, supercharger, anything like that required. It's going to be on a cartridge you can stick in the system and run, and that I can actually flash the EEPROM and make myself with PCBs and blank EEPROMs. That's it. So no more Mr. Nice Programmer here. I'm not trying to do anything that's going to be too hard to make. And so the Sega CD game, I can actually make CDs on the cheap because they're super cheap to buy by the spool, but also because everyone emulates Sega today, I could sell a Sega CD file, like a CHF file or whatever, a CH file, whatever they're called, an ISO, and people can burn it to a disc if they want and play it on their real Sega CD, or they can just emulate it. And it's going to have real music that I'm going to make. It's going to have really great animation that I'm going to program. Every bit of it I'm going to code. And the one thing I need to learn and perfect is sound effects, which isn't going to be hard because it's just programming, just figuring it out. And I'm going to make a Sega CD game. I'm still going to program Atari stuff too, but I just kind of want to back up and take a break. The Atari community are the most baby coddled. They want shitty games that look shitty. They don't want anything that looks really good or that requires you to use more modern styles of control. They want a game that they can play by pushing 4 directions on a stiff controller and then complain when they lose over and over again and it looks like crap. That's fine, whatever, that's what you want. You remember it, it has an air of nostalgia. Now when I play Atari 2600 games, I play games that look good and play good, but are slightly harder, maybe are better with a Sega pad, stuff like that. Like I play Spy Hunter, or Ghostbusters, or Tapper, or the remake of Xenophobe with a redrawn graphics. I play games that are good, that look pretty good. I don't, there are certain games that I'm really not into for the Atari. Maybe I'm not into Frogs and Flies as much as everyone else. I'm not into, I like Chopper Command, but I'd rather play Stargate or Defender, Defender 2 than Chopper Command. I like Robot Tank. It's arguably superior to Battlezone, but I like Battlezone better. I think it's incredible. I think Battlezone is better on the Atari 2600 than in the arcade. I play Star Trek Strategic Operations Simulator. I love that game. So I still can play those and enjoy them and everything, but if you're that group of aficionados that has to have blocky, single color graphics that are, iconic Atari look, and you're repulsed by graphics that look this good on the 2600, then my games are never going to appeal to you. And I have no intention of ever making a game for the Atari that doesn't have at least 3 color sprites, multicolored backgrounds. And as I said in my last programming video, the text kernel stays. All of my games will have text kernel now because the ability to communicate is great. So let's look at some other stuff that I'm working on too, real quick. I don't think that actually did the phosphor effect on this one. I love my Ecto 1. That's my favorite Ecto 1 of all time. It's the one I made. It's so awesome. This game, when it's done, will be PCB with an EPROM requiring no additional chips. No ARM processors, no super chips, no anything. It will work. I don't have sound effects yet. Got me. I was about to get there. Oh. Now the way this actually scores is not based on jumps. It's based on how many barrels get to the end. So see, that barrel just got to the end. Oh, and so you got points. I did that so that to make it easier to program, but also to make it so the scoring system isn't exactly the same. There are no double jumps, no double barrels, I don't think. There might be, I don't think so. So, actually I can go over here, but here in a second that fire is going to come up here and make it impossible for me to go down that ladder. Oh, it got me. I was almost to the top. Now, part of the reason I made this is I wanted a pretty girl, a little jump man, but also I wanted to make my own version of the King Kong, Donkey Kong gorilla character that's big and scary and is not the iconic Donkey Kong. Not that I have a problem with Donkey Kong, but I didn't want to copy him. I didn't want to copy him directly. Oh yeah, there we go. This one I can make it. That was a double one though, so now I know they do. So I wanted to program barrels, random, and I wanted to program the hammer portion where you can hit things with the hammer, and of course program the next levels. And this one again is a non-super chip, mirrored playfield, 32K, bank switching EPROM on a normal PCB. It doesn't require any fancy chips or anything like that. I love that the girl has different animations. She's yelling for help and she's turning back and forth. So again, I'm using the Windows emulator in Linux because it works better. This uses 2 controllers, yeah. Transforming Warplane. Love this game. It's going to be a great one. So here we have, let's see, I don't know if that's not programmed yet. There it is at the bottom, but not at the sides or the top. Yep. Okay. That's the most zoomed in of that ship. Then if I hit the button, it goes to my starship, which I'm going to change the neck pylon area colors so that there's less blue and red going on. So there's just the windows, but not the blue going up the side on the left or the red going along the back. Just to help out a little bit. I think it will look better if I do that. Trying to make it look like the best Enterprise that the Atari 2600 ever had. That's what I'm going for. And I think it's close. Yeah, the colors need adjusted big time. Possibly darkened, I think. And this was a prototype here for if I chose to go with the standard kernel instead of the multi-sprite kernel, which, you know, obviously is not going to work well. I don't think they're locking up, no. But it's just, you know, testing the waters. Hey, what if I decide to go with standard kernel instead of multi-sprite with this game? It's pretty good. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not enough. It's not anything near as good as what the multi-sprite is capable of. So yeah, thanks to anyone who's keeping up with me on this. And you know, I am working on it. I've had a bit of a you know, break with vacations, 2 groups of vacations close together, playing some video games on the side. I actually played and beat the PC version of Resident Evil 3. Then I did the HD seamless upgrades and stuff, and I'm playing that. I'm at the very last level, about to beat that. And I'm about to play Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2 with the seamless HD mods. I will add this too. Since I've switched to FossPup 64 as my main OS that I use online and for selling stuff and things, and for occasional gaming, the video editor that you can get for Linux that's free is significantly better and faster and easier to use and more intuitive than any of the Windows stuff, especially Clipchamp, which no one should ever use and is the worst piece of crap I've ever seen, but also better than the native photo program video editor or any of those other, Movie Maker. It's better than Movie Maker. And I think it's called Katie Live or something like that. Let's look. Yeah, KDen Live. KDEN, KDen Live. That's what I'll be putting this together with, and it's great. It works perfectly. I'm still programming. I'll be making stuff. You know, the wrestling game should be out one of these days soon. I'm trying to get, you know, clear the funk and the, you know, restrictive kind of artist block, programmer's block, writer's block kind of feeling that I have. It's just, you know, they say who God loves is rebuked and chastised. And so God must just really, really love me.
Resident Evil.
There, that's the right newer fonts. Now check out this outfit. This is a costume set. Apparently, this was actually a real costume from, I think, RE1, and they redesigned it for this game. As you can see, there's enhancements to the resolution, different graphics for the items. So yeah, I need to get my bearings here. Now, back when, let's see, I think it was well over 100 years ago, a couple hundred years ago, I think, when the French and the Creole, I think they were having a war, and what they did to torture them was they created blockades, and to enforce these blockades, they would, you know, keep anything as much as what they could block from reaching the French. Now, at the time, the French loved coffee. Okay, so by blocking their coffee from reaching them, they were throwing a fit. I'm going the wrong way, I'm sure. Yeah. And so what ended up happening is they went around looking for alternative sources for coffee. And they happened upon the chicory root, which is it's in a family genus that's like ragweed, which I'm deathly, like terribly allergic to. Ragweed makes me suffocate. I think that's the wrong way too. Maybe not. Oh, okay, it's this part of the game. Carlos.
Rescuing you is becoming a full-time job.
Thanks, Carlos. I earned it.
Listen closely, Joe. They're going to launch launch a missile directly into the city as soon as day breaks.
At dawn? But that's only...
I know. We don't have much time left. We have to split up and find a way out of here. And hey, watch out for that traitor Nikolai.
So, great outfit. Oh. I'm still refiguring out the controls. The controls are different on all the different platforms. So I'm currently playing this on the PlayStation emulator and also on the computer. And wouldn't you know it, on the PlayStation emulator the controls are different and you can't change them. So, oh! That helps none amount. I love the seamless graphics though. It looks so good. It's like a, you know, just a shellacking of modernization on the game where, you know, there's no pixelization and it just makes it look so much better. Now, this was a costume pack that I downloaded, and it has other costumes I haven't seen yet that I need to restart the game to see, but this is my second playthrough, the end of my second playthrough. And with my first playthrough, I actually scored a E rating, which I found out was the absolute worst rating that you can have in the game. I guess I should work to get them all grouped together. Oh, so I can kill them all in one shot or whatever. Oh, I'm aiming wrong. I think my zombie aiming is the left one. Yeah. But yeah, the controls are different than on the PlayStation. I probably won't save this. I'm just playing it to show my cool outfit that I downloaded. I love the mods with PC games. I think it's, you know, other than the higher resolution, more options, usually better sound, different graphics cards and stuff, different controllers, all the benefits of playing on a PC. One of the things I've always really loved about it is the mod community, like just the ability to change the game around, and it's, you know, so much harder to do that on a console game. Oh no. Nikolai.
Nikolai?
Nikolai. There we go. And so right around the corner is actually some more stuff. Well, there's that leads outward. You can go out to where you would. I jumped off the bridge. I watched a video that said that the way to get the good ending is to jump off the bridge, but also to not blow up Nikolai when he steals the helicopter. But there's where you jumped off right there. So I got the good ending the first time I beat the game, and it was the first time I'd ever beaten Resident Evil 3. Killed myself with an explosion. Ha! So yeah, like I said, I'm not saving this. I died. But yeah, great graphics overhaul. Beautiful graphics. I love it. This is the redone video. So I remember back when I was talking to my son about this, how when video games came out and they'd have CG in them, we would always talk about how the CG was how the graphics were going to look in the next system. And usually that was right. Like if you looked at the CG graphics in Dead or Alive compared to the in-game graphics, then Dead or Alive 2 almost looked like the CG graphics from it, but it had better CG graphics. Then Dead or Alive 3 looked like the CG graphics from Dead or Alive 2, but it had its own CG. But now today, they just have the same video game graphics in the CG that's in the game, but maybe it'll be 4K for the video segments, and then it'll be 1440p or 1080p for the game itself. So what I found out is when the blockades happened that kept the French from getting their coffee, and they found chicory root and started grinding it up and using it for coffee, that they started cutting their coffee. So, suppose they get 100 pounds of coffee and then the blockade made it so they only got 20 pounds of coffee. Well, then they'd mix a bunch of ground up chicory root with the coffee to make it, 30 pounds of coffee instead of 20. And then people realized something. It tasted better than coffee. So I happened upon this big can of coffee with chicory root mixed in. Now some people just drink chicory root coffee. That's no coffee beans, no roasted coffee beans ground up in it or anything. It's just chicory root being consumed as a coffee, like brewed chicory root. But then there's coffee that is cut with chicory root. It's got mostly coffee, but it has some chicory root, maybe 40-60 or 30-70 or some kind of blend, 20-80, some blend of coffee to chicory root. And I got this can of this stuff that is coffee with chicory root in it. And it is the best coffee that I've ever had in my life. It is so good that it is next level. If you have never tried coffee with chicory root in it, now, I like it black, and that's how I was drinking it at first, but then, if you read on the can, it says that the way they prepared it, in the South, in like Creole area, and it's Louisiana, and in the South where the French were, was that they would mix hot milk with it, right? So what I've been doing is putting some oat milk in the bottom of my mug here, and then usually I put a 10 ounce with full flavored, I click the button to make it stronger. I click the strong button, right? 10 ounces of strong coffee, and it's almost to the top of my mug. But then now I put milk in there, and I do 8 ounces of strong coffee, and it tastes like chocolate. It tastes like dark chocolate or something. And it has its own distinct flavor that's really good, almost like a caramel or a toffee kind of flavor. Now, black, it has like notes of licorice or anise almost, and it's a little sharper, but it's still really super good. But with the milk, it tastes like dark caramel toffee kind of chocolate flavor. It is the best coffee I've ever had, and I've had endless types of coffee. Being a coffee aficionado, since I could drink coffee, since my teenage years, I've had all kinds, and I've always liked to try all kinds of different coffees. So I've had so many different. I've ground my beans for the longest time. I've tried Colombian Peaks, and I've tried, caramel flavored, the expensive coffees, the cheap coffees. I think Folgers Crystals is dug out of the garbage. I don't think it's even really, I really think it is coffee grounds that are being recycled or something. It's so terrible. But this stuff is the best coffee I've ever had in my life. And it is like, I don't know, it's 3 letters, C something M or CDM or something, and it's coffee with chicory root in it. About 2 ounces of milk in the bottom of the cup, and then 8 ounces of strong coffee chicory root, and it is the best coffee I've ever had, hands down, in my entire life. Now, I read online benefits of chicory, and it said that if you're allergic to ragweed, you shouldn't have chicory. But I'm allergic to breathing ragweed. I'm not allergic to, like, chicory root at all. It doesn't seem to have any effect on me in the slightest bit. I don't seem to have wheezing or, any kind of breathing problems or anything because of it. So if I did, I wouldn't drink it. But it is so good. I mean, you have to try it. If you like coffee, try coffee with chicory root. Maybe some milk. It is incredibly delicious. It's what I like now. I'd rather have it than normal coffee. It's that good. Now, I have a lot of mods in this. Some of them are NSFW or NSF. Now, that bug, that's because of a mod that I've installed for animals. So I'm actually going to load the game again. And sometimes it happens and I just reload, or I turn off the mod. It's called Mythmakers, and it's a mod that someone originally made to have horror movie monsters appear in certain places within the game. But what I did was used it to import animals. So there are lots of animals in this game. Cats, moose, beavers, ducks, dogs, tigers, whatever. There's tons of animals in this game now that were not there before. I don't know what resolution this is at, but I think it's a high one. Okay, let's see. For this game. Now, as you can see, I've got Spider-Gwen. Beautiful Spider-Gwen graphics going on here. But of course, it's CJ in there. So you're going to get really foul, snarky remarks, sometimes singing and stuff. It is Spider-Gwen, if Spider-Gwen was a short black gangster from Southern California. There you go. I also have a, let's see here, grappling hook mod that turns the suppressed pistol, what the heck happened right here? It turns the suppressed pistol into a gun and a grappling hook. I also have garbage installed to the game, so you'll see garbage all over the place that wouldn't normally be there. Reflections are installed. As you can see, there are reflections on that car. I also have round wheels installed, so all the wheels on the vehicles are round instead of blocky. I have realistic driving enabled so that they won't drive too insane, although this right here is an indicator that somebody was driving insane. I don't know how that car got there like that. I also have items that people can carry around. As you can see, he has a grocery bag. See? He has a grocery bag. Sometimes they'll be smoking a joint. I did a custom bass mod where at any time a person can walk up holding a Fender P bass and then play a certain bass riff just standing around, and that can happen. I also made this custom lightsaber. Now you can download lightsabers, but I actually modded this lightsaber to be so powerful that it can destroy a vehicle in 2 or 3 swipes, or maybe 5 swipes. It cuts the heads off of 4 or 5 people all in one swipe. It's, for all intents and purposes, a real lightsaber. I also have Luke, young Obi-Wan Kenobi, or I should say middle-aged Obi-Wan Kenobi, all the Ghostbusters. I have the Time Travel DeLorean, the Ecto-1, Batmobile, and Batman. The Batwing is in here somewhere too, but you have to get it. I have 52 different mods installed at least, something like that. I have a automatic motorcycle, so at any time I can bring forth this motorcycle and ride. I have to be careful where I use it though, because it will run you into stuff. So here, see, and it disappears once you jump off of it. So here, I can jump off here. Now normally I'd be listening to the radio, because I love that these games have radios. And one thing I'm going to do with my Sega Genesis game that I want to make, what I want to make first is a game that's like Privateer but better for the Sega CD. And I want it to be in the future but have a communication station, like a radio station, that plays in space that you can pick up, so that you can hear music and radio shows in your spaceship. I'm also thinking of possibly having holographic entertainment on your ship to promote the idea that people use holograms as entertainment in the future. The things that I wish were in Privateer, I want to have in my Sega CD game. Now, graphically, I don't think I can make it, obviously I can't make it as good as the Privateer remake, but I could probably make it pretty good. You know, and I don't want to make a copy of Privateer. I want the idea, like where it's basically a sandbox environment of interactivity, but with space. So you can have spaceships and upgrade them and buy and sell and trade. So things I would change about Privateer: more ships. I would have 20 or more different ships, and or maybe even have like almost like a Lego type of modular building of ships, where you can have one. I have a frame that's compatible with different upgrades, or have maybe a special type of ship you can buy that that can be upgraded a certain way. You know, have dozens of ships. Not just the basic ships they have in the Wing Commander game. Have cities that you can go and do things in, rather than just one image with a bar. Like every place has a bar and then a basic image of that place when you're there. And I would probably want it to be that every place has a city or a town or a colony or something where you can actually go and travel around and meet people and talk to people and stuff. So I definitely would want that. Now, one thing I like to do is jump and create the bike until I have the white bike. Then it looks almost like a hero bike that fits Spider-Gwen. So maybe 1 or 2 more bikes forward of this one will be
I'm the one supposed to drive high, not you.
will be a there's a light blue one. There we go. So now I'm Spider-Gwen on a white motorcycle that's like her hero bike. And I think the bike is based off of a Final Fantasy bike. And it's a rocket bike. It's very, very fast. Now, in case you've never played San Andreas before, maybe you don't have mods, or you're not into Grand Theft Auto games, maybe you want to give it a try someday. Even without all the mods and without the game set up the way I've got it here, there's a secret, but it's not really a secret. There's just a quick way to make yourself basically filthy rich. Once you can get to the horse races, go there, save the game first, then go to the horse races, then bet all of your money on a horse. If you lose, reload the save game and try again. If you win, save the game, bet all your money, do that until you have 12 million, $311,930. Now, because of where I am in the game, the gangs have taken over San Andreas again, and I'm actually not supposed to be here. They'll try to attack me or kill me. So the Grove Street bad guy gang, I guess they were purple instead of green, they will try to attack me. But if they do, I will chop their heads off with a lightsaber. So there is no way they're going to beat me. Not going to happen. Now with this many mods, you can break the game. So my game is effectively broken. If I want to get further in this level, or further than this level in the game, I have to play on an unmodded version of the game on my system, get to the save that I want to start off at, then move that save over to my modded game and start from there, and hope that it doesn't break the game to where it's unplayable, because it might. But if I go and try to complete the mission that I'm in right now, the game will lock up when I reach the city right in the area where the mission is meant to start, because of how many mods I have here. So you can see garbage everywhere. See? There's a cat right there. That's a mod. Now if you see a guy standing around dealing, then you can chop him down or shoot him, and he'll dump a whole bunch of money. The dealers are great for quick money too. But nothing beats bet everything on a horse race, lose, reload your save game, bet until you win, and then you'll end up with a ton of money. You don't have to cheat, you don't have to mod. Although there are mods where you can give yourself whatever amount of money you want. I didn't do that. In this case, I earned every bit of that through horse races. And I bought all of the properties that I could buy. See, there's the Time Machine DeLorean with Mr. Fusion, and then there's the 89 Batman Batmobile. Now I've set it up, I've modded the game myself so that there is only one Batmobile, as far as I know. I think one or two, but you will never see a Batmobile being driven by someone else in San Andreas. But I did not do that to the I didn't do that to the time travel DeLorean or to DeLoreans. So you will see DeLoreans, time travel DeLoreans or normal DeLoreans, and also I think the ice cream truck, of which there is only one of in the game anyway, I turned into the Ecto-1. So there's only one Ecto-1, and there's only one Batmobile in the game. And so, but there are time travel DeLoreans and also DeLoreans just as a car that you can drive that's not a time travel DeLorean. So I have lots of mods. Some are custom mods that I edited myself. Others are just out of the box packaged mods. And this is one of my favorite games. I really like 5. For modding I like San Andreas and 5. But for like the actual game and the story, I like 4. I think 4 has a better story. Now there's my Hoopty, and there's the Ecto-1. There it is. I got a fruit booter there. There's a guy talking on a portable phone, which is in the 90s, but not part of the normal game.
You know who I am?
Okay, he's carrying a bag.
Excuse you.
Now you could actually use the grappling hook to go underwater. So if I point down there way at the bottom of the floor of the water and hit the grappling hook, it will yank me down into the water really deep. You can actually kill yourself with it that way. And if you fall from a great height, of course you're going to hurt yourself. But I also have a flight suit. So I can actually use my flight suit to fly like a flying squirrel. One thing I really like to do in this game, now that I have the grappling hook and stuff, is I like to use it to grab onto a plane and then get on top of the plane and ride it to wherever it's going. Now, I have not unlocked every bit of the San Andreas map yet. So there are places where if I just go there, I'll get 4 stars and be hunted by the police until they kill me. But if you're riding on top of a plane, then they'll have to shoot down the plane. And quite often the plane will just go out to sea. And then you'll trigger the endless ocean effect where you'll go on forever and it sucks. You'll never be able to get back. So,
You like my asshole always holding up shit.
there, see, she's carrying a bag. There's ducks. There's someone playing a bass. There he is.
What's up? Nice to see you. I agree. really bad. Did you lose your brains? Yeah. No worries. See you around, man.
I got this clip from an instructional video on how to play that funky music White Boy on the bass guitar. And then I put it over the bass guitar sound. Now these are enhanced pedestrians too, so I don't know where those ducks are at. There's a cat and a duck nearby. There's a cat. Really close. Now, sometimes the Mythmakers mod will screw up the game though, and you'll get that error. These mods sometimes will screw up the game irreparably and lock it up and stuff.
Hey, I just love Europe. Get your ass out of here, bozo.
And there's a German Shepherd with his head in the wall. Now the cars have turn signals, brake lights, realistic traffic so they won't drive as crazy. There's so many mods for this game. It's one of the most moddable games that I've ever seen. One thing I'd like to introduce to the Grand Theft Auto games like San Andreas, GTA 5, maybe GTA 4 if I want to mod that, is kids and teenagers. And I'm not saying that because, you know, I want them to be around gratuitous violence or terrible language or people, but because it would add an extra layer of realism to the game. Now there's a mess up where an actual leg appears instead of a drink. That's not supposed to happen. And that's one error that's part of that mod. And online people talked about it. There's a guy with a suitcase.
Ladies love me.
Now I haven't seen any of the bad guy gang members around. I don't know why. Usually I've been shot at by them at least a few times just being here, so maybe they're somewhere else. Let's see. So that leg mess up, I just call it DOS boot. Oh, I think that was them. No. That was not them. Now there are places in this game where the cops have a very hard time reaching you and you can just raise hell and blow up stuff forever. And like under bridges, there are certain places where you can do that. There's a messed up Mythmaker animal somewhere where it's a human graphic, but it's put on a dog and it looks really messed up. It's funny. So any purchasable property, pretty much all of it I've purchased. So I have all the different houses I can go to. See, there's flat little, like whatever that is, plastic containers. I'm not seeing bad guys anywhere. I don't know what's up with that. That's really weird. Usually they're all over the place and they're trying to kill me. There's some right there. Hey, do you guys want to kill me? There we go.
Come on.
Just to give you an idea of what my lightsaber
You don't
can
need
do
this
there.
no more. Don't matter if I'm short.
4 swipes with a lightsaber.
Should have run away. Ah, you so kind.
Both my parents are dead.
Toe, fool.
I love that he's feeling around for where his head was. It's one of my favorite things ever.
It's on now.
Like, why would he come to fight with me? Like, that's an idiot thing to do.
Just a bitch.
And a pile of
Very
money.
kind of you.
One of them must have been a drug dealer. Also, there are a mod in here is real signs. Most of the signs in the game are period correct advertisements. So there are signs for movies that were out in the 90s in California. Also the restaurants, there's Subway, Domino's, stuff, but there's still the original ones too. So let's see here, let's see what this sign says. Yeah, there. There we go. Miller Lite or light beer, whatever light beer that is. That's a real sign from the 90s.
You got a dead rat down your shirt?
Leave me alone, lady.
Grove Street smells like pussy.
You bitch. I need this more than you, I think.
I added this, this is one of the girls from Dead or Alive 5 as one of the streetwalkers. So cute. And that was a mod you could download from GTA mods.
Nice, baby.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
That's a real sign. Oh, they're fighting with the cops. Cool, let's have fun.
Take this paper. You little punk.
Now the cops are after me because I helped them out. It would be that way. This is that place right here. This is a place where You can effectively wage war against the police and they can't reach you with helicopters or anything, is right under there. Now this is if you want to play Privateer more like the way it originally was, with less drastic changes like what VegaStrike, the remake of Privateer, has. This one is like a HD remake of the original Privateer. So it has the same shortcomings as the original Privateer game. Okay, so here we can see this is the same as the image, but it's been enhanced. Much like what the videos and backgrounds for Resident Evil 3 or the Resident Evil games were with the HD remake. It looks cleaner and sharper. It's a higher resolution image. Here's the ship you start out with, the Tarsus, with nothing. You go to the main concourse. This is a sharpened image of the main concourse. Just all of them are like that. Now here's the original interaction. You get your guns, and you only have 2,000 credits, and you get to cycle through all the items you can upgrade with. And some people would probably prefer this, like I said, over such drastic changes made by the other games. But this preserves the original game as it was. And so with this first one, just starting right out the gate, the best thing to do is to sell things back and forth between the agricultural world, Helen, and one of the two mining colonies, Hector or Achilles. So if I go to what I can sell, this is what's on my ship right now. A missile launcher, dumbfire ammo, a shield, plasteel armor, which is you don't want, cargo expansion. That's all you have. And 2,000 credits to start out with. So what I'm going to do, I'll go ahead and sell my cargo expansion. Okay, now I'll go to buy mode, and the first thing you want to make sure to have is afterburners. Because that'll save your butt more than other stuff will. And then the next thing I'm going to have is I'll sell my plasteel armor, and I'll buy tungsten armor. That's a big deal. And since I can't sell my torpedo launcher, I don't think I can, I'll go ahead and just buy either, let's see, a mass driver. That's good. I can't get that though. Dumbfire. Okay. Now I don't have much money now, but I'm ready to defend myself somewhat. Go to the commodity exchange and tungsten. There we go. And then I'll get some iron. There, I got one iron and some tungsten. No money left. And I don't have any controls. I'm gonna get blown up before I even get anything done, yeah. And the voices aren't working. So yeah, it's not perfect. That guy should have said something to the effect of, die by the very weapons you adore, or something like that. Now once I get a better radar, then, now that's an enhanced planet. The planet's nice. Enhanced cockpit view. So it's basically exactly the same game with slightly better overall graphics. But everything else is the same. And that's for purists who really just want to play the original Privateer game, but maybe they want it to look good. Now you could play it in DOSBox, the original Privateer will work in DOSBox. And this game takes too long to load. I don't know why it takes so long to load the segments, but it could be I need to set it up for like a specific Windows, like 98 or XP or something, in the compatibility settings. But something here is making it take way, way too long to do anything. Go to the commodity exchange and sell that, and then all 6 of these. And then I have 652, that's more credits than what I had. I'll buy wood. That always sells for like 100 and costs about 66. I prefer the enhancements mainly because, you know, their quality of life changes. You can see more things, you can adjust and tweak more things. Changes that were made to make the game arguably better, but also you can sell things. For instance, if you want to sell an entire flat of nothing but tungsten, you can just click sell at the top in the newer game and it will sell all the tungsten all at once. In the original, you have to literally click every single sale. And so you end up clicking this thing for, you know, 58 times or something. If you have 58 items, you're clicking it 58 times. Now, my birthday is happening in 2 days. Okay, so December 3rd is my birthday, in case you guys want to send me presents. I'll be 49, and I'm considering doing a In Bed with Guitars video, just for fun, because I did a couple years ago, I think for my 47th birthday, I did an In Bed with Guitars video with some music and stuff. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to put a video out there for the tens of people that might watch my content. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment,